Support WrestleTalk!
Tell a friend. Daniel Bryan not medically cleared for SmackDown. I'm Ollie Davis. This is Luke Owen. Welcome to WrestleRamble. And I don't know about you, Swaff Nation, but my heart was in my chest and then my mouth, and I kind of vomited it on the floor when WWE said last night on SmackDown, it was Todd Phillips, whatever his name is, he said, because of the Greatest Royal Rumble match where Daniel Bryan lasted an unprecedented 2 days or something, wasn't it? He had those horrible chops from Roderick Strong on his chest. They showed a little interview with Bryan after that match, and he said, it wasn't me. Sorry, it wasn't the tiredness. It was just Braun was a better man. Braun won at the end. No one could eliminate him. You can't blame this on my tiredness. Great promo as always. But then it cuts back to Todd Phillips at ringside, and he says because of those sort of lacerations on Bryan's chest, he hasn't been medically cleared to compete tonight on last night's episode of SmackDown out of fear of infection. Now, I hear Daniel Bryan isn't medically cleared to compete, and I just immediately get worried. Because why wouldn't you? We know he's getting medically tested, concussion tested, after every match he has. That was one of the conditions, reportedly, of his return to action in WWE. Thankfully, I'm not going to, string this out more, he fought in the dark match for the live crowd, so it's okay. But oh my god, I was worried.
That's really interesting because I wasn't at all.
You just don't care though. You're a nastier person.
Well, I'm obviously
than I am.
I'm a horrible person. But when because they did the whole Daniel Bryan is not medically cleared, I was like, cool storyline then because he's got a match on Sunday. So I was like, that's just a storyline for him not to be on SmackDown tonight. And then when Big Cass came out to do his promo, I instantly went, little person coming out.
Really?
Yeah.
You called it.
Called it. I was like, bet it was a little person.
Yeah.
Road Dogg's booking the show, man. Who's his best friend in the whole wide world apart from Jeff Jarrett? Vince Russo. It just feels like low blows, little people. The Attitude Era is alive and well in a PG form.
But we said just now, low blows are over, man.
Low blow is so over.
So we just watched a video clip of so it was Daniel Bryan and Shinsuke Nakamura in the dark match main event. So that's only for the live crowd only. This didn't play on TV last night. So that's how we know Daniel Bryan is okay, thank God. But yeah, I'm surprised you weren't. Not even a little bit.
Not even a little bit. Do you know what? It's really weird. I just feel that now because he's been in the ring, he wrestled for 4 days or whatever it was at the Greatest Royal Rumble, and he's had matches since. He wrestled WrestleMania, and he's been on TV, and he's had matches there. I just feel like now he's fine. Like that worry of him taking bumps, him hitting his head. I don't know, maybe there's just been this pressure has been lifted off my chest where I'm like, I don't have to worry about him anymore. I think he's all right. So now when they say things like he's not medically cleared, my mind instantly goes, storyline. It's just a storyline. It's to cover him not being on this show so we can, just save him before the pay-per-view. Because SmackDown is, what I like about SmackDown is that not all the same stars are on the same shows every single week.
I'm a warrior.
You are a warrior.
I'm a warrior. But hopefully I'll get to your place in a while. I mean, he wrestled, like you said, he wrestled for 17 days at the Greatest... That's probably why he wasn't on the show.
Yes.
Because he was still in that Greatest Royal Rumble match.
Trying to throw out Braun.
Yeah. And so if he's having that level of match, that's insane performance to wrestle for 75 minutes. And then, and it wasn't like it was... He was on the canvas for most of the time. Every person who came in there, he rushed over to work with.
And and there was
a spirited performance.
And there were times during that Greatest Royal Rumble when Daniel Bryan would get in the mix with someone, and I'm like, oh, I want to see a match. I want to see a full match. Like when Chad Gable got in, I was like, yes, please, I want to see that match. When Roddy got in, I was like, yes, please, I want to see that match. There was just it was like guy after guy. The guy in the ring, I was like, oh, it's so great to have Daniel Bryan back, and I cannot wait for more of this. I had a really interesting theory actually about Daniel Bryan's chest. They said it was from the chops. There was a lot of things.
Knife-edge chops.
Knife-edge chops, as JR we used to call them. God, we're talking a lot about WrestleMania X7, aren't we, at the moment? I make a WrestleMania X7 joke in my SmackDown review. It's just on my mind at the moment.
Wonder why.
I wonder why. Pledge on Patreon. And what was the point I was going to make? Yeah, the theory that I heard, that it wasn't just the chops that made his chest like that. It was all the times he was being pushed against the ropes and being pushed over because there were so many elimination attempts on him. And that's what it was, just the constant pressure of being pushed against the ropes, being worked over. that's what actually was like really like opening his chest up. It's just a theory. I don't know if that's true. It's just that someone has posited that as a potential.
I wouldn't be surprised because, as anyone who's done any modicum of wrestling training,
those ropes suck.
You're this guy included.
This guy included here.
This guy included.
I was very bad.
They hurt. Just bouncing off the ropes like that. It's not like, I always used to think, oh, they're like soft little ropes. That seems fun. Way, bounce off momentum. Untrue. They are like steel ropes that just lacerates, cut into the side of you, and it's bruises all along. It's horrible. But Daniel Bryan was fine. But
yes.
he used to get a lot of infections. That's one of the reasons he went vegan back in the day. It was apparently a doctor's advice, because he loves to, what do you call it? It's not just grappling, but kind of legit amateur chain wrestle on the mats. And canvases can get very dirty because so many people are sweating, various bodily juices are flying around. You are in quite a danger of getting skin infections, dermatitis.
I'm not a doctor.
And
wasn't he in the Greatest Royal Rumble?
yeah, it was.
Is that NXT caller, Babatunde or whatever his name was?
And I'm sure that's kind of racist. What we
No,
just
Babatunde. I was referring to the Babatunde or whatever his name was.
Cool. I'm not sure that's a skin disease. And so Daniel Bryan, apparently, he kept on getting these skin infections, and the doctor said, go vegan. And he did go vegan, and they cleared up for a while, and then they came back.
That's why vegans are great.
It's not the answer to everything. It's like, you feel a little bit lethargic. Go vegan.
Yeah.
You didn't like Infinity War? You got to go vegan, man.
That'll sort itself out. Who was it we were talking about recently that like he was vegan and they used? Oh, it was Zack Sabre Jr.
Yes.
In all of his New Japan Cup run, when he just had like guest commentators going on, and each one of them would just go like, he's a vegan and I just want to punch him in the face for it.
Yeah.
Was it Bad Luck Fale that kept saying
Bad
it?
Luck Fale and Rocky Romero could not comprehend this meat-free diet.
It was so funny. Oh, I loved it. But but Daniel Bryan, like we watched the clip of him in the dark match against Shinsuke Nakamura, and like what a rabid crowd we had on SmackDown Live. Bizarrely, not in Bizarro World this time, the crowd were cheering the people that they usually cheer and booing the people they usually boo.
Well, they cheered Samoa Joe. Heel.
Oh, maybe, yeah, Bizarro World.
I think everyone gets cheered, actually. The heels get cheered the most. Oh, Big Cass got booed.
He did, yes. Yeah,
good.
eventually. And but it just made me think, like, man, I can't wait for that future feud. Now, then that's what I really liked about SmackDown. We're going to do the full review in a minute, but what I really liked about this week's SmackDown Live, which I thought was on the whole an average show, I just thought that everything it was setting up was making me go like, I want to see more of this, I want to see more of this, I want to see more of that, and I can't wait to see this. So I thought on the whole, I thought that's what it really did well. And like seeing Bryan and Nakamura there, I was like, what a feud that's going to be.
Yeah, well, that's a job done for a wrestling show to make you want to see future matches.
Apart from Backlash.
The reason d'etre for it. So that Daniel Bryan Shinsuke Nakamura match is a 45-second clip floating around online, and I mean, wow. Now that's a possibility. There's so many possibilities that I've forgotten. Like, who would have thought Roderick Strong was something I wanted? I didn't even think about that until last Friday. But Daniel Bryan's doing the yes kicks. Of course, the Montreal crowd are going, we, so it's the we kicks. And then Daniel Bryan goes for that last one that would it be fair to say it has a 95% fail rate?
I wouldn't say 95%, but there is a ratio between failure and success.
And at one point, I would retire a move if it.
Well, I mean, it's like
over. Yes, I'm just.
Well, no, I'm saying like if I was in a match with John Cena, do you know what I'm not going to do after he hits his shoulder tackles on me? Swing a punch, because guarantee you he'll duck underneath it and then hit a backdrop on me. I would just think like, not me, mate, not doing it.
I have seen you.
I've studied this, mate.
Yeah.
I've tape studied you.
So yeah, he goes for the last one, but Nakamura ducks and gets the low blow. Nuclear heat from the crowd, but the person filming just goes, ha 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 ha. The low blows are over in 2018. I love it.
Who'd have thunk it?
Yeah.
It's a SmackDown review, Maggle. I love it. We got us a flying Uso.
Paige here. That's right. Paige is opening SmackDown after... You know what I appreciated about the Greatest Royal Rumble recap package in front of SmackDown, as opposed to the Raw one, which is Raw. Look, beautiful city of Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, guys. Historic night. But SmackDown was more like this story thing happened, and this story thing happened.
Yeah, Shane McMahon took a heck of a bump off Brawny the Strowman, threw him off the top rope into the announcer table to eliminate him. What a heck of a bump that was. Shane McMahon is not here tonight, so it's just, quite literally, Paige here.
Yes, and hopefully, I mean, I don't want to wish ill on someone. That's not what I'm doing. But hopefully that's the end of Shane for a while.
Oh, no, he'll be back next week,
Do you
mate.
think? What up? Place, shuffle feet.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, he'll be there at Backlash. No, he won't. They didn't really do general managers at those pay-per-views, do they? He'll be on SmackDown next week. They'll find a way.
Yeah, I'm just hoping this is Paige can now make the show her own. You don't need Paige and Shane's awkward. Ugh, I didn't like it when they were together. But Paige says Shane won't be around for a while because of that, and because we didn't get a conclusive winner after the AJ Styles Shinsuke Nakamura match, because Nakamura gave the low blow to AJ. It was a disqualification.
No, it was a count out.
It was a count out. That's right. My apologies.
And then AJ kept attacking Nakamura after the match as well.
To get a clear and definitive winner at this Sunday's Backlash show, we will have a DQ disqualification match.
I made the exact same. As soon as she said no DQ, my mind instantly went no, and I thought I'm not going to make that joke in the review.
It's WrestleMania X7.
All
that
over
is
it.
how the Think introduces Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin's no disqualification match.
It makes me laugh every time.
It's just, like I really get Tim Curry from Home Alone 2. Oh yes. So this massive blood feud, which is also no disqualification. So that's good. With all the bad referee calls,
Yeah,
it's like if I was running WWE and these just all coalesced at the same time, I would run a little fun referee points, best practice backstage skit seminar.
Oh,
thing.
yeah?
Yeah, that was my idea off of this.
So we cut angle backstage with like a referee's rule guide, being like, look, if this happens, do this. If this doesn't happen, carry on.
Well, you know who's not working right now?
Who's not?
Well, for any major promotion, Earl Hebner.
Oh, referee
so
Earl Hebner.
Kurt could say, I brought in a
TNA
consultant.
Hall of Famer,
Yeah.
Earl Hebner.
I brought, or he's the other brother, the other one. You could get either of them.
Dave Hebner.
Dave.
I think it's Dave Hebner.
And Brian.
And I think Brian is
all
his
of
son.
the Hebners.
All the Hebners. Just bring them all
Just
in.
get them in, and they can run like backstage. Here's things to look out for, and then maybe you could use that to like actually lay down some rules and say these are now the rules in WWE this year.
Earl Hebner, who, if memory serves, holds a win on pay-per-view for the WWF.
Oh, against
Nick Patrick at
the
Invasion.
Invasion, yes, for the referee versus referee match.
Indeed.
So the show probably kicked off in the ring with Miz TV, and his guest was Jeff Hardy. What do you make of Miz's red outfit? Because I thought this was a WrestleMania thing, but let me check. It's not WrestleMania anymore. It's been here for about a month.
He was wearing it's like a Naruto headband-esque thing. I mean, I don't mind it, to be honest. It's just the Miz. Like when I look at him, I'm just like, oh mate, you're an absolute dick anyway. So it's fine that you're dressed like one too.
I guess I'm being worked, brother. I just liked his old look. So this, yeah.
But so he brought out Jeff Hardy for this, and essentially like he was using this to promote the match at Backlash that he is having against Seth Rollins for the Intercontinental Championship, asking like, do you not think that I would be a better Intercontinental Champion than Seth Rollins is? And Jeff Hardy responded by like, if you were better than Seth freaking Rollins, you'd have beaten him at the Greatest Royal Rumble, etc, etc, etc. Eventually there's a surprise on around the corner though, because it's not just Jeff Hardy that's booked for Miz TV. Randy Orton is also here to and then Miz essentially, he just tries to stir the pot. And I've written in my notes here, so every time that Miz was trying to like say, oh, but there's that time Jeff did that thing to you, and then Randy's like, yeah, it doesn't really bother me. And it's like, yeah, but what about the SmackDown Live top 10 list? I'm like, mate, no one cared about that. But then Randy Orton essentially is just like, me and Jeff, we're cool. And I was like, oh, it's Ollie's favourite thing. It's baby faces who just get on.
You know what, though? Everything else on the show wasn't baby faces getting on. It was actually everyone is super competitive over titles. And here, this came good in the end. So this worked perfectly. And it wasn't just like, we're totally cool, man. This is just professional rivalry, just trying to be the best for the United States title. It wasn't just that, because Miz was like, that's it. What that's you're not angry with each other, and it was really funny. It was a really nice way of approaching a go home angle like this. The crowd thought it was funny, and Randy Orton got to say nobody cares about the top 10 list. Finally putting a pin in that.
Yeah.
Do you want to have some words of memoriam for the top 10 list?
10 list. The
that
top
you were
10
so hopeful
I was
for.
I mean, a lot of people can criticize me for being so negative on WWE. I was probably the only person in the entire world, apart from maybe Road Dogg and Ryan Ward, who thought that the SmackDown Live top 10 list might do something. It might start feuds. It might give impetus for people to be more competitive. But nope, it was there for about a week. It started one feud between Randy Orton and Bobby Roode, but even then, it was basically just Randy Orton going like, "This is a bit dumb, though, isn't it?" And then no one cared about it, and then Dave Meltzer just wrote in the Observer, "Yeah, they're dropping that angle now," and then they dropped it.
Maybe that's why he blocked me.
Randy Orton,
because I was down on the top 10
but
thing.
he was also down as well. So surely he'd have been tweeting you going like, "I agree, I concur."
But people always say like, "Oh man, you guys are too cynical about WWE. Be optimistic about where the future and the direction of these storylines are going." It's stuff like this that burns us. I wasn't optimistic about it, but Luke was. Luke got his hopes and dreams up about the top 10, and look, they just crush you. So next time something that's kind of exciting comes along, you're going to be, I've been burned by this sort of thing before.
Burned so many times.
Crap on it. So.
And I think that's now, in the last maybe 10 years, 8 years, let's say, that a top 10 rankings list has completely failed after 1 week or so. Because TNA tried to do it with, when Bischoff and Hogan came in, they tried to do we're introducing this top 10 list, and the viewers get to vote on who should be the next contender. And it never worked, because they always wanted Abyss to win, and Desmond Wolfe kept winning instead. And they were like, that's not who we want. So they just put Desmond Wolfe in squash matches where he kept losing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Boaty McBoatface wins. And what are you going to do there?
Exactly, yeah. So, and this one hasn't worked either. It didn't really work. The idea in principle was sort of there, but in practice it was an absolute disaster.
You've got to commit. Or maybe it's something like communism, where it just never works in practice.
Yeah, no, I think, you're right on they just needed to commit to it. They needed it to be across multiple feuds, as opposed to just that one feud where no one cared.
But this is, again, the argument for communism. You just need the right set of people in charge. You just need to commit to it and not become corrupt. Maybe it's the same thing with the top 10 lists.
Maybe, who knows?
Yeah,
but anyway,
some scholars really have to look at those similarities.
But Shelton Benjamin then came out, and because he beat Randy Orton last week, said, "Hang about, lads. I beat Randy last week. Surely I should be the contender, the number one contender to the United States Championship," which is an excellent point, Shelton Benjamin. And then I looked and I was like, haha, 2 baby faces, 2 heels, holla holla. I think we've got a tag team match, player, which is what we got.
I was fully expecting Shelton to get added to the US title
really?
match by the end of this match. Yeah, but I'm fine that he isn't. I think you can play into this later on down the line. But it's just like, oh no, last month was the multi-matches.
Yeah,
we're back to singles matches.
Absolutely, yeah.
Are there any multi-matches on Backlash?
I don't think I can name you a single match that's happening
go,
anyway. Well, I can name you a handful of them. But when we do the predictions show, which we're recording later on today, that will probably be the first time where I've looked at the Backlash card in full to be like, oh, so this is what is happening.
So Shelton and Miz took on Randy and Jeff. The Canadian crowd were having a lot of fun. Sometimes with the match, sometimes by themselves. They just started chanting "Olay" for a while.
Yeah,
it was fun.
It was fun. It was funny actually. I think I saw someone in the comments yesterday ask why you didn't understand that the Canadian crowd were chanting "Olay," saying like, "Oh, I thought Ollie would understand because it's a Sami Zayn and El Generico thing." Problem was, when you asked, I didn't understand why they were doing it. It was a Seth Rollins segment.
Yeah,
that's exactly why you didn't understand.
Totally get the El Generico stuff.
Yeah.
See, Luke does read the comments.
I don't. As I said, because a lot of people have mistook what I said. I'm not reading them as much.
I think you did say I don't read comments anymore.
Well, I was trying not to, only because I was just getting wound up by people saying stupid things.
All YouTubers go through this phase. It's fine. You love the YouTube comments, then you go, I'm not going to read any more of them, and then you come back and you realise, it's not all bad. There's loads of lovely people. It's just the nasty ones that stick out.
The focus, it's always the negative reviews that you remember the most. But those are the ones that don't bother me. It's the stupid comments that wind me up, and those are the ones that play on my mind and I think about. Anywho, this was a a basic little tag team match, and it had a really fun ending. Orton got the hot tag, and he hit his table backdrop on Miz, and then the double rope DDT thing.
Yeah, that got a big pop.
RKO to Shelton Benjamin, and the Swanton Bomb. I thought it was a fun little finish.
Yeah, I really liked Shelton Benjamin's running knee.
Oh, it's so awesome.
So Jeff Hardy's in position for the Swanton Bomb on the top rope, but Miz holds his leg, and Shelton runs up and clobbers him in the face with a knee. Gets a wicked sound off it. But yeah, they're celebrating after the match, and wouldn't you believe it, Randy hit an RKO from totally out of somewhere on Jeff.
Yeah.
This was a really fun opener, and the crowd was super into it, and it built a match on Sunday.
Do you know what it was missing, though? It was missing that one shot of Jeff Hardy looking up and smiling at Randy Orton going like, you got me, man. You got me. What pants?
Oh,
man.
Pants. Backlash pants.
Backlash pants. I should have seen it coming.
Back pants. Band slash.
Band slash. Backstage, I think I've skipped a segment here. Backstage, Renee, one of my favourite moments of the show, actually. Renee is with the IIconics, and Peyton Royce does one of her patented...
Nice.
I've just come up with that.
Was that you? That wasn't something...
I just thought I should have used that in the review.
Oh, that's good, man.
Patented impressions.
So, because her name's Peyton Royce, right?
That's right. That's where the joke works. She did one of her patented impressions of Renee Young, which, I've got to admit, was particularly spot on.
It's uncanny.
It was uncanny. Made even better by Billy Kay just going like, oh, it's like Renee and Renee. Oh, it's so close. But it turns out she was doing a Minnesotan accent, not a Canadian accent. And Renee was a little bit upset about this. And then they just told her to go away.
Well, they didn't tell her to go away. They told her to go chase a moose or something.
That's right. Oh, they are so good. I love these two.
They're really good. And then Carmella comes in, and they're all the heels are overly congratulatory to each other, and they're just to hype the 6-woman main event tag match.
Yeah, because even after the Superstar shake-up, SmackDown's still going to SmackDown. You can't get rid of these 6-woman tag matches.
I didn't hate it, though, because as they're usually just thrown together, this was very prominently featured. It was built up throughout the night, and everyone had legitimate grievances and storylines going into it.
There are multiple storylines going on with the women's division, because you've got Carmella and Charlotte. You've got the IIconics saying that they're better than Asuka. But more interestingly, I feel, and this was one that was really built up throughout the show and in the main event, Becky trying to re-find her feet in the women's division. They're really playing up this storyline at the moment that she has lost her way and she's been lost in the shuffle, and she needs to find something to get her back in.
Whoa, boy. Rein this back in.
Uh-oh.
I can just feel you doing it again. You get in. You think they're going to push Becky. It's the top 10 list.
Oh, no.
Man.
And she was in the top 10 list. She was number 9, I think.
Just lower those expectations.
Okay, lower the expectations.
Just, bring it down.
Yeah,
Anyway. The sun's getting real low.
Someone's been watching Age of Ultron. Anyway, backstage, the Bar are walking with their SmackDown Live contracts because they didn't beat the Deleter of Worlds at Greatest Royal Rumble. They're now officially SmackDown Live talent. And they walk up, they run into the New Day, who do wacky stuff.
So sometimes the New Day are on the obnoxious, annoying side of the hilarious balance.
Mm-hmm.
I found them on the right side here. Just the way the Bar were walking through the corridors, and then the camera pans right to reveal them in a pyramid.
They're just
standing there in a pyramid,
holding Big E up.
And then all through so the Bar say, "Oh yeah, we're here on SmackDown now. We always wanted to be here on SmackDown," despite them saying the complete opposite the previous week. Kofi is very funnily saying, "Oh, what happened? What happened at the Greatest Royal? What happened to those titles, eh?" And that was making me laugh. And on top of that, Big E was just right at the front of the camera, rubbing lube into his chest.
Oh, he essentially at one point was just like, baby oil me. And then he got given some baby oil and was just massaging his chest while this promo was going on. And then, to make this even weirder, they called in Mr. Bootyworth. And a guy in a tuxedo t-shirt walked in with a plate of pancakes to give to the Bar as a welcoming present. And then they told Mr. Bootyworth to leave.
He's got to get over as an act. So this is his debut,
That's interesting. You say he's got to get over.
He's going to get over.
Well, no, I was going to say this is one of the things that is either going to get over or they're never going to bring it up again.
Yes. I hope it's the latter. I got a Big Dick Dudley vibe.
I was going to say,
Big Dick
I don't know where you were going.
Dick vibe from him. I just want to see guys with larger appendages around more. And it was that's what Big Dick Dudley used to wear, right? The fake tuxedo shirt.
I'm sure he did.
Yes.
So yeah.
But I liked the addition of the character. I thought he could be he could get over by himself as a funny thing.
Maybe.
I was super into the New Day. The Bar have good comedic timing too. This was just a very good all-round segment.
My takeaway from this is it's further proof that the New Day are writing their own segment, and that's why they tend to come across as their own characters.
Yeah,
They're not coming across as WWE scripted nonsense. This is very much the New Day writing their own material. Case being in this, Sheamus then said, I want to challenge one of you to a match. And Big E stands up and he gets in his face and he's like, not you, big fella. And he goes to Kofi, but then he turns to Xavier Woods and says, I'm going to challenge you. And Xavier Woods doesn't say, sure, we'll have a match. He made an obscure reference to 1995's Mortal Kombat, directed by Paul W.S. Anderson. Fun fact.
Here it is, okay.
I wrote a book interviewing Paul W.S. Anderson about that movie, and you can read all about that in this, available from all good booksellers. Please buy my book. I need the royalty checks. I got my first royalty.
Wrote a book.
I did write a book. And there's a very long...
What was the line?
Your soul is mine, which is a Shang Tsung line from the film.
The New Day have said that before, haven't they? That Vince, at the start, was scripting their stuff back when they were the happy, clappy.
Sorry, I was trying to find that. I was trying to find the chapter. There's just
Right.
so much in this book.
Yeah, so much content. He's since come to trust them, so they are allowed to write their own stuff. It was just really good.
Yeah, I like this. Like this a lot.
Then we had another backstage tag teamy segment,
But a slightly concerning, and it's, you know what's really weird? I didn't think about this until you text me about it.
Really?
Yeah, okay, so we'll go through the segment. So, Rusev Day are backstage. Rusev is in his Rusev Day t-shirt, and Aiden English is saying, I'm just warming up because I've got a new song to sing. And he's about to sing the song when Lana walks in wearing a Rusev Day t-shirt. And instantly in my mind, I was like, finally.
Yeah, that's
absolutely
what I thought.
wonderful. Yes, let's go with this. And then Aiden English sort of walks away, and Lana says, look, you are great and all, but something has been holding you back, and we need to, find a new thing for you to do. And I was like, the thing that has been holding him back is that he hasn't had Lana by his side, and the three of them together can move forward and be brilliant. And it was only until you messaged me this morning saying, it's a shame that Rusev Day might be splitting up, that I was like, oh no, is that what that segment was about?
Yeah,
Is that
totally.
what the segment was teasing? And the more I thought about it, I was like, I just got so excited at the idea of the three of them being together, I didn't even consider the notion. Because why would you? Why would you even consider splitting this act up at this point?
Because they got over by themselves, damn it.
No, I know, but why?
So Lana, because you kind of missed out the bit that reveals all this. Lana says, you lost it to The Undertaker at Greatest Royal Rumble. You've been really good, but I do feel like something... You look sad. And Rusev's like, why would I be sad? I've got a holiday in my honour every day. And Lana says, I just feel like something's been holding you back. Pause. Aiden English walks in. Oh, I thought I've forgotten my coat. Takes his coat, walks off, and then Lana just looks in that very soap opera obvious way. That's the guy that's holding you back.
I did not pick up on that at all. I feel like an idiot for not picking up on it, to be honest. But again, maybe it's just the physicality of that. I'll take my coat. I'll get my coat because I need to go. Oh dear,
bros. And wives. That's the thing that everyone said. The rhyming
the very rhyming couple.
Bros and wives. It's the age-old question.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully they become a three-person faction.
Oh, hopefully so.
But it could. It's weird that we've all been saying, why did you break up Rusev and Lana? Put them back together, and WWE like, okay. No, I didn't mean that.
It's like when you rub the lamp. And you get your wish, but really, there's something behind that wish as well.
Yeah.
I didn't
Read the
recognise.
small print.
I didn't barely recognise my wife when she decided to become a vegan. It's like I'd never seen her before. You can have that for free, mate.
Next, we had a big Cass promo. One of the title suggestions I wrote down for this episode is Big Cass, actually very good. There it is. You can see it right there. In between all-time classic WWE faction disbanded, Absolution,
yep.
and Rusev Day breaking up. Yep, there's Big Cass. Actually very good. I thought he did stumble a bit, but that's only because the crowd were giving him such nuclear heat.
Yeah, I really, really like this. He came out, they basically announced that this wasn't scheduled. This wasn't on their running order. Big Cass is just coming out. He comes out with all of his smiles. I just wish he was still in that suit, because I just thought he looked awesome when he was in that suit. And he basically just comes out to say, I'm better than everyone here. You're all just little people, like Daniel Bryan. You're all just, and what you need to be a WWE superstar is tall. It felt like a mocking version of what everyone thinks that Vince likes.
Yeah.
I mean, I say that everyone thinks it is what Vince likes. Vince does like big, sweaty men. That's a well-known fact. And it just feels like he's doing this now to wind people up, to being like, mate, I'm tall. Of course I'm getting a push. Look at me. I'm very tall. I'm very handsome as well. Do you know who isn't? Daniel Bryan. He's very short.
It's really good stuff, and it's because he is so tall, and I would imagine most WWE and wrestling fans, myself included, back when I was a teenager, I wasn't a big guy. I'm still not a big guy, and you side against the bully, and Big Cass is most definitely the bully here. It's a very well motivated feud. We've already said we wouldn't have done this as Daniel Bryan's first feud. Why would you? But fine, it's happening, and they're doing this as best as they could possibly do. I've got no complaints other than the fact that it's happening. But then Cass...
There was a great line in this, though, when he said that, because I'm also, unlike Daniel Bryan, you're not going to get a 5-star match out of me, you're going to get a 5-second match out of me. And I thought that's a wicked line.
That was a money line. That was so good. And then Cass brings out Daniel Bryan, and I thought, oh, okay. I didn't get that it was going to be a short person. I thought he was a little person.
Is the politically correct term.
That they were. I thought Bryan was going to come down now and challenge him despite being injured, but no, it was a little person. Cass runs through some short puns. The little person's dressed up as Bryan.
It was almost like Becky Lynch wrote this segment. It was pun heavy, saying that Daniel, you're just being so short-sighted about this feud. My favourite line is though when he it's when he sort of pauses like, if you put lifts in your boots, you're looking taller today.
Yeah, that was good. Short-tempered was another one.
Yeah.
And through each line, Mini Bryan kicks Cass. He's trying to have a match, and then Cass goes, and scene. It was so funny. I really liked that.
As if everyone in the audience hadn't realised. He was like, guys, this isn't actually Daniel Bryan. This is just, he's actually a local actor. And then took him round to give him bounce. And said, he's available for bookings, contact his agent. Although if I was watching this, I would not be contacting his agent because he could not take direction at all. He was like, come over here. And he'd go across to the other side. It's like, then he'd parade and he'd be like, no, mate, come over here. Just wouldn't take direction whatsoever.
Yeah, he cheered, he soaked up the applause from all sides of the ring, and everyone knows what's coming. Big Cass is behind him, looking at him. He's preparing the big boot. The facial expression has changed, and Mini Bryan turns round right into a boot. And then Cass just starts unloading punches on him on the floor, and the referees run down. It was a real good, chaotic segment.
Yeah.
That was, wasn't actually chaotic. It was, of course, all planned, but they presented it as such, and I really appreciated that. And I think Big Cass is going to do okay without Enzo Amore as we were always worried about that his heel persona only works because he's got Enzo Amore to go up against, but now it's Bryan, and he's getting the Cass Hole chant over. That could be his "You Suck." Cass Hole. It's so fun to chant. It works perfectly.
Yeah, I was a fan of this segment. It was totally Attitude Era SmackDown nonsense, and I kind of enjoyed that.
And it built the match.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward more to the match now than I was the previous week. What more could you ask for? AJ Styles and Nakamura's apology segment was next. That's what you can ask for. I thought this was another really good segment.
This was, because this was hyped earlier in the show that because of AJ Styles' actions, Nakamura was demanding an apology from AJ Styles, which I thought was a really nice touch. So Renee's in the ring and AJ Styles comes out, and he essentially cuts a promo on Nakamura saying he's not going to apologise. Their match is no DQ at Backlash, and they're going to...
Sorry?
It's no disqualification, and they're going to have their match at Backlash. And so he challenges Nakamura to come down and face him, but Nakamura doesn't answer. Instead, it's Samoa Joe. And as soon as Joe's music hit, I was like, oh, God, yes. Yes, please. All of this makes me very, very excited.
So is this the first time in WWE TV these two have crossed paths?
Oh, I suppose it would be, yeah.
Because Samoa Joe debuted last year on Raw. AJ Styles has always been on SmackDown since Joe's debuted. on the main roster.
Joe was in NXT. AJ went straight to the main roster.
Yeah. So I can't think of any... They definitely haven't had a match in WWE. I can't think of any times where they would have shared a segment or a passing glance.
And all of a sudden, my memories of 2005 TNA just came flooding back to me.
Yeah, where's Christopher
I
Daniels?
was going to say, we need Daniels back. That's what we need, man. And so Joe sort of used this segment to cut his promo on Roman Reigns to hype their Backlash match that I'm almost certain no one cares about. But then said, after
It'll be a good match.
It will be a very good match. But it's not like I'm frothing at the mouth to see who comes out on top. And then, but he also then used that to transition. Is like, once I've put the big dog to sleep, I'm going to challenge whoever wins out of AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura for the WWE Championship. And I'm like, yes, mate. Samoa Joe in the main event of SmackDown Live. Happy days.
And all of a sudden, AJ Styles is defending himself against Nakamura. He's defending him against Joe. He's got the challenges set up the previous week from Bryan. Although he's busy with Cass at the moment, he says, eventually I'm coming for you, AJ. And you've got all these plates spinning, multi-layered feuds. They can cross over. You can jump from one to the other. This is great wrestling booking that has been sorely lacking from WWE from the past several years, where they just stick with one program and drive it into the ground.
Yes.
I'm hugely excited about this. What a top 4 guys to have on a brand. Joe, Nakamura, Styles and Bryan.
Pretty much. Like,
wow.
What? Like that, it is great. Absolutely great. And then...
About 10 years too late. But we got there, guys.
If this had been 10 years ago, like WWE during that really dark period might have actually been entertaining to watch. But Nakamura's music then hit. And what I loved about this, Nakamura's music hit, Joe instantly turned around and got ready for a fight. And it was great because, like, Joe challenged Nakamura or AJ. Like, he didn't say, I'm challenging you, AJ. So he was, like, turning around to see if Nakamura wanted to fight. But Nakamura snuck in behind AJ Styles, hit with a phenomenal ball arm, and then went to do the Kinshasa to the back of the head, but just ran past him to be like, I could do it. I'm not going to. No, actually, I am going to do it. And then hit him with the Kinshasa. It was great. I really enjoyed the segment.
Really good. And Nakamura's facials and just overall physicality is kind of moving like a robot that's slowly breaking down at the moment. And he's just great. He really is an anime villain that's kind of jumped out the page, or the manga, or the whatever Japanese stuff has, cartoons. And he's just jumped into real life.
Yeah. It's great. I like this.
And yeah, Joe turning round to square off against Nakamura, like you said.
Nice little
master stroke.
Yeah, nice little touch.
Everyone hating everyone. Unless you're in the women's division and a babyface.
Yes.
But I didn't mind that.
Yeah, because backstage, Becky Lynch is very annoyed that she cost Asuka the match. Like she said, like, me and Asuka lost last week. No. I lost last week. I caused Asuka's first loss on SmackDown Live, and she put all the blame on herself. Then Asuka walked up to her and said, like, hey, look, it's fine. We just got to focus on tonight instead. Then Charlotte walked in so we could have them all standing in a row. I'm pretty sure Charlotte actually looked at her mark before she stepped in, and then looked at it while she was stepping to make sure she was perfectly in place, and then said that they were going to win tonight. And Asuka then said, we have the Queen, the Empress, and straight fire, Avengers, assemble. And she walked out of the ring. I've written here, it was hilariously dorky.
Yeah, it was well done. And then Charlotte and Becky did their T thing.
T Generation X.
And like, WWE went through this horrible phase, and I used to have it in my Raw reviews, WWE's crappy pop culture reference of the week. Because I just got a bit emotional thinking of Avengers. Did you see what Tom Holland did?
No.
Oh, it was a special... So Tom Holland is the actor of Spider-Man, and there was a special surprise screening for loads of fans where the directors came on stage and went, hey, we've got some more special guests for you. And they brought out Tom Holland. Tom Holland, the excitable chap that he is, walks in, spoils Infinity War with his opening line.
Oh, Tom Holland, man.
And you can hear the crowd go like, that the audience go, wait, it's Tom Holland. And he says it, and they're still cheering, but a few people go, what?
I haven't seen that video yet, but I have seen there's a video being shared on Twitter that I haven't watched yet, which is Benedict Cumberbatch stopping Tom Holland from spoiling Infinity War, a saga. Apparently, like, in all their interviews, he keeps going to say stuff that's spoiling it, and Benedict Cumberbatch's like, no, can't say that.
Yeah. Bless he is
him.
Doctor Strange.
He is.
Yeah, but that they would do these... It was mainly Ryback. Ryback would always be given these really shoehorned in pop culture references that were just so awkwardly scripted. But this at least came off kind of natural and kind of funny.
However, having said that, I would rather Asuka not be portrayed as a hilarious dork.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's personal preference. Next up, shock. We had a match. Like
That's a good point. How many matches?
There's only 3 matches on this show.
Whoa.
And there was a match, and that was kind of like my issue with this show was
I
that
didn't even notice
there was a match
that.
at the start, and then well into the second hour of the show, we had our second match. It was just backstage segments and in-ring segments and like build up for Backlash. Then we had a match between Xavier Woods and Sheamus that had been set up earlier in the night. So my first note was like, oh yeah, this is a wrestling show.
It's a testament to how good all those
segments were,
or like at least how entertaining they were. And then, like, none of them were all-time classics, but they all served the purpose. They were all entertaining. They zipped along very nicely.
Yeah.
Wow, I did not notice that. It has been a while since there was actual wrestling, and I enjoyed this match. I really rate Xavier as a wrestler.
So
always
good.
have
Yeah.
done since his Consequences Creeds days.
They botched a batch breaker. Look at me, I botched it. They botched a backbreaker ever so slightly. Like the timing was a little bit off, but they recovered it so well, so it didn't look like it was an accident. Essentially, Sheamus was just like, I acted as if Xavier was trying to muscle out of it as opposed to just jumping up for the move, which I thought was a really nice touch, actually. And there was a really like chaotic ending to this match where Xavier got up onto the aprons, onto the ropes to do a big springboard elbow, but Cesaro got up on the apron to distract him. And then Big E, like, hoiked him off the apron, caught him in the big ending. Cesaro got out the big ending and pushed Big E into the ring post. And then Kofi jumped off the ring steps, and Xavier, oh my God, this is how chaotic it was. Kofi jumped off, and Cesaro went underneath him, and then did a little bit of a strut that they do in the Best of Both Brands video, because Cesaro is so cool. And then he got drop kicked by Xavier Woods.
And then Xavier Woods got the roll-up victory over Sheamus.
Yeah.
It was a really good ending.
Yeah, really good ending.
Unfortunately, all of the part of the match where Xavier was being worked over was done in the shrunk ad screen in the corner. So you got the start of the match where it was kind of equal, and then Sheamus started getting... As soon as Sheamus got the heat on Xavier, ad break, and you come back when Xavier's just about to have his comeback.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's like, well, this is fine, but I'm not as emotionally invested in Xavier coming back now because I haven't seen him being worked over.
Exactly, and that's kind of the other problem with there only being 3 matches on this show, is that the second match that we got wasn't really a match. It just felt like it was a very short, nothing match. However, the big takeaway from this is that, and I don't want to alarm anyone here, the Usos and the Bludgeon Brothers are having a feud over the tag team titles, which means I think we're having a second tag team feud independent of the other one.
It's like a number 1 contenders situation almost.
Crikey.
Bloody brilliant.
Bloody brilliant. Have we got other tag teams on SmackDown? Oh, the Good Brothers.
People, yeah. Oh, yeah, of course. Gallows and No.
Yeah, Gallows and Anderson.
Yeah, they're with... But Carl Anderson was taken out the previous week by Nakamura's knee. I just think it's amazing how New Day are such faces despite having a one-man advantage most of the time.
Yes.
That's quite difficult to pull off.
It really is, yeah. Paige here. Oh, no, we've got another segment before Paige is here.
Yeah, it was Becky after... This was from the previous week after Becky had lost her tag match. She's walking backstage, and Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville of Absolution are there, and they make fun of Becky for losing.
Essentially, they know she's there, and they're just going like, God, that Becky, she's well a loser. She did a massive loss this week. And then Becky, and they're like, oh, God, Becky, I didn't see you there. And again, tying into this storyline that Becky has lost her place within the SmackDown Live women's division, and everyone looks at her as a loser. And now she's got to try and find that fire again to reclaim her role as the dominant female. She was the inaugural SmackDown Live women's champion. She needs to find what got her there in the first place. Nice little show-long storyline that they told.
Yeah, and it just makes SmackDown feel like a living, breathing world outside of all the in-ring bits and backstage interviews. I really, really like the presentation of SmackDown at the moment. And then it cuts to present day, and Paige is backstage, and Absolution come into her office, and they're like, hey, Paige, our former Raw leader, Absolution back together, gal. So, who's getting the title shot first?
It was really, they played this really nicely, which was like, all we want to know is which one of us is it.
Yeah.
And Paige was like, oh, it's going to be Mandy Rose. She's going to have a match with Becky Lynch next week. And they were like, oh, I mean, I thought it was going to be a SmackDown Live Women's Championship match. And Paige was like, no, you got to earn that here. And this is when they essentially said, or Paige said, Absolution is dead.
Yeah.
And she looked at their T-shirts. It was like, as if, those are silly now, aren't they? You're wearing T-shirts for a group that's not together anymore. So I guess they're either I mean, I don't think they're going to go their separate ways, but they'll just get a new tag team name.
Which would be pretty good because IIconics, seeing them later on, that if they do get these women's tag belts, I'm kind of getting on board with this now. That's a tag team. Absolution can be a tag team. I don't know. Maybe I just want to see the IIconics with tag team belts.
I just want to see more of the IIconics on SmackDown.
Yeah.
We then got a cell phone promo from Zelina Vega that was filmed on a very windy day. Probably could have done this. Probably could have done a retake on this. But it was. I really liked it because it was just like everyone wants to know when Andrade, words popping up, is debuting on SmackDown Live. He's going to debut when he feels like it.
Yeah, we know when he's debuting. You'll find out.
Yeah, you'll find out. I like this.
And words.
But
words were back on
words
screen.
on screen. But they appear to be, I mean, I don't know, because Alma said this in his promo, and then Corey Graves reiterated it when it cut back to the commentators, that they are trying to use Tranquillo as Almas's gimmick.
Of course, that Tetsuya Naito's thing, really.
Yeah.
Which is weird to do.
It was a bit weird.
Too sweet, man. Cease and desist. Someone send it to them. And then we got after a Backlash card rundown for Luke's information purposes only, so you know what's on the card now.
And I've already forgotten.
We got Charlotte, Becky Lynch and Asuka versus the IIconics and Carmella in a pretty fun match.
I loved this match. I thought
really
it was a really, really good main event. It got a lot of time, and there was it was like crazy spots towards the end. It always felt quite chaotic. I really, really enjoyed this.
And just looking at those 6 women there, good grief, SmackDown has a good roster.
Oh, it's got a stacked women's roster at the moment. It really has.
Like, I know Raw's got Ronda Rousey and Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss, but I mean, Ronda Rousey doesn't feel stale, but Nia Jax, Alexa Bliss, the colour red, that feels stale, right? Mm-hmm. SmackDown, I'm just so excited about everything they do. I said it to you yesterday. I'm genuinely looking forward to SmackDown.
As am I. Every time I review it now, I'm always really looking forward to getting up on a Wednesday morning to watch SmackDown live. It's a really fun show to watch. I mean, it never feels like it's 2 hours length either. It always zips by. It's a really snappy show.
Whereas Raw is a chore a lot of the times. It's nice if it's good.
Yeah.
That is the exception to the rule. Whereas SmackDown is. No, it's pretty much always good for the last month.
And SmackDown really did get the better end of the superstar shake-up because they did get quality over quantity. And when I think about who Raw got, and then I kind of replay segments in my head, I'm like, man, Baron Corbin is feuding with No Way Jose and Titus Worldwide. Is that your best use of Baron Corbin? Yeah. And there's a lot of stuff that could be done better on Raw, particularly their main event scene, but that's another conversation for another time.
So
this was a fun match.
So Asuka won this match with an Asuka lock on Peyton. Peyton tapped out, but it's fine because the IIconics beat Asuka the previous week.
Exactly.
And Charlotte hit a huge moonsault off the top turnbuckle to the outside on Carmella and Billie Kay.
Great stuff.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed this.
And then the show ended with Carmella holding her title belt at the top of the ramp, staring for a long time at Charlotte.
And it was, perhaps it was the way that the story, the show had been structured and the way they were sort of telling these stories. When the little graphic came up in the corner to say, hey, 205 Live's coming next on the WWE Network, my thought was, it's not the end of the show. One of them, there's going to be something that happens. And I was trying to keep my eyes on what was happening with Asuka and Becky in the corner. And that's not me being I think something is going to happen. I think that's just the way that they've been telling these stories of where, is Asuka going to get something off of these WrestleMania losses and the SmackDown loss? Is she going to get a revenge on Becky? Is Becky going to realise that maybe I need to do something and attack someone and show that I am a dominant female? And it made me feel a bit not on edge, but just being oh man, I think something might happen here.
Yeah, so a good show overall. I would give this a very high smack bang in the middle. But, if this was a show a couple of months ago when SmackDown was in its bad state, I would say it was smacktastic.
Yeah,
it's just SmackDown has hired my expectations for what it is.
You're absolutely right. And I also gave it a smack bang in the middle as well. I think the only reason I took it down to a flat smack bang in the middle is because there wasn't a lot of wrestling on this wrestling show. It was just a lot of angles and stuff. And perhaps this is just me being a cynical Charlie, but I'm not excited for Backlash. I just don't feel like I'm
excited for Nak and AJ no disqualification match.
But I just saw it a few days ago. So maybe that's why I'm not that excited. I'm not excited for Roman and Joe. I'm not excited for I'm a bit excited for Charlotte, Carmella, but I'm not excited for Nia and Alexa, and there's a lot of stuff on the show that I'm not massively enthused by.
Yeah, I understand that. I've never bought into Nax and AJ being a big match at Greatest Royal Rumble, so I feel like they're going to do it better here.
I just think, in hindsight, someone actually sent a message about this yesterday on Twitter asking about, like, why did they do that booking for Roman and Brock at the end of Greatest Royal Rumble? And I was like, I mean, it's not the way I would have booked it, but then again, if it was me, I wouldn't have booked that match at Greatest Royal Rumble. I would have given Brock a different challenger so that you can still keep that Roman Brock thing. If that's your intention is for Roman to still win the belt, I wouldn't have done that match at Greatest Royal Rumble. Similarly, I wouldn't have done AJ Nakamura at Greatest Royal Rumble either. I would have given AJ a different challenger.
Just do it better.
Just do it better.
But that's all we've got time for on today's show. Please click the videos that have just appeared on our laps to catch up with the latest WrestleTalk videos. Subscribe to this YouTube channel, and we should have a button here now to subscribe to the podcast version on iTunes. That is completely free. So click it over there because you get an exclusive intro and outro for the podcast that bookends it. This has been Luke Owen. I've been Ollie Davis, and that was Rambling.